looking at, when you're talking consolidation or merger or annexing, whatever it might be, the specifics of the county, city, towns, and villages of these employees, that there might be some duplication? Are you looking at the breakdown of, you know, the city has an airport, it's not county owned, are those workers affected versus the city has parks people versus the county having a Department of Social Services? How is the commission evaluating these people's jobs and how is that being looked at?
Me?
Sure.
No, I don't mind answering it. No, I don't, I guess what I would say at first is, first blush, the commission is not looking at that level of detail, your job to my job, as a comparative, and what should we do about that? Should Murph go to work or should you go to work, you know, in X? The commission has attempted to look at the big picture, long-term, towards the future, not in the operational implementation stage. However, we did, each committee, I think, also wanted to impart, you'll see in some of the ideas, I hope, wanted to impart some sort of pathways that could be either because they worked in other places or because they were suggested to us, that could be looked at as implementation operational things. I think ultimately, me speaking, I will let Dennis or Rob speak differently. Ultimately, those decisions, those real you and me decisions, who's going to go to that job and what are we going to do there, are the implementation decisions of the leaders who are present for whatever the change
But who
is.
will
Yeah,
leaders be? I mean, you're talking about merging all of our governments possibly. So how
Possibly.
many of us are going to lose our jobs for the bigger picture?
So to be very clear about that, the purpose of putting this commission together was not to reduce municipal workforce. It was not to look for ways to cut jobs.
But it's going to be a consequence of that.
It has the potential to be a consequence of it. I think
I don't know if
it doesn't
that's
necessarily have to
that's
be.
a fact. No, I
How
don't know
many
if that-
government workers lost their jobs in Louisville and Indianapolis? You know that.
I don't know off the top of my
Like I said,
head.
economic development's great, but when you start talking about people losing their jobs
Right.
because, I mean, essentially, I understand there is some overlap, but you're talking about consolidating 450,000 people within this region. People are gonna lose their jobs, and I think that's really important that the commission looks at that. I mean, do we need another stadium? Do we need another
No,
dome?
listen,
I don't think they
That's,
want,
that's
I understand
great,
what you're
but
saying.
you're
Yeah.
talking about people and their jobs.
yeah, and I don't think they want to dance around it. I don't think the intent is at all, I know the intent is not to not discuss that. As I said, I think that it was very difficult, and, you know, I'm not qualified certainly to decide if it's you or me to go into that office tomorrow.
No, but you're talking about the
Serve that
voters
job.
relying, and I'm not trying to diminish any intelligence of any voter. We're all voters in this room.
Right.
But when you put a referendum out there, I can probably guarantee you, and I'm no expert, that a good 75% of these people, A, don't understand it, or B, haven't read through it all. So we're relying on the voters that's gonna determine if I'm gonna have a job or not. Yeah, I wanna make sure that this is understood. I wanna make sure that my employees have jobs. If we're consolidating, what's gonna happen? I mean, this is a huge thing for us.
Absolutely, and
I
I think
agree.
that, I totally agree, and I think that, you know, what Murph was saying, what I would say is that it has not been the commission's charge to develop an operational plan. So first of all, there are no final recommendations, right, about what might happen, because that's dependent on feedback. Second of all, we have not been working on, nor do we believe it's our charge to develop an operational plan for how those pieces would fit together. There are leaders in those municipalities that would have to sit down and help make those decisions, whether it's, you know, a town board, a county legislature, an executive here or executive there, and that's not gonna happen without input from people who are ultimately affected. So I think we hear that, I understand that completely. There's no effort in any way, shape, or form to diminish the seriousness about, you know, individuals and their employment opportunities. At the same time, we do not want to have a conversation around without talking also about the bigger picture, right? And what we could accomplish. I think the example was Indianapolis. The slide in your deck actually shows that their governmental spending actually went up. Now, the piece I can't answer for you off the top of my head Did that mean that there were more municipal workers or less? I don't know the answer to that, but their level of spending and their actually increased post,
Based on
post the merger,
economic growth.
right? Because they were growing as a community, they were attracting more private sector jobs, which is creating demand for more services. So is that gonna be the story here? I can't certainly commit that to you or promise that to you, and I don't think any of the commission members will feel that.
No, I mean, I would just add to your concern, this was one of my major concerns, and I brought that up there. Nobody's talking about abolishing all the little governments and just having county government, period. It's gonna be some new type of government, but there have been consolidations going on now that have cost a job. These Syracuse police get absorbed into the wet. There's lots of jobs, it's happening. And if we don't get the money in here, if this region becomes the second largest city in the state, yeah, okay, I think we're gonna have more economic opportunities. If more money pours in, we might need a bigger government. Who knows? I mean, in terms of if you're looking at government jobs. We don't know, but we know where we are now, and it's not sustainable. We're gonna see more job losses. And the other thing is infrastructure. The city can't get their pipes fixed, but they're putting more pipes out into the suburbs. I see it every day. New roads, new pipes, new sewers. We're putting it, but there's no more increase in population. But we're building more infrastructure that's gonna cost more money to maintain, but who's gonna pay for it?
I want to mention what my brother just said, because yesterday, Monday night, water pipes burst on Butter on Hillside Street. And you know, some people like myself, we had no water for 24 hours. So that's case in point.
Janet, you had a question?
I just was wondering when,
Go ahead.
like Minnesota or Louisiana, whoever villages, towns and stuff actually get rid of their public servants, and how many of those public servant jobs all of a sudden become private sector jobs? Contracted out employees, no
That was my
longer
question.
Yeah.
part of the government.
Yeah, of course.
Do we have any
I don't have that. Do you have that?
I don't have that.
I don't have that, but we will do some research.
That's an important
That's an
part.
important question.
Yeah.
That's why it's here first. That's why we're, because I wanna
Right.
hear from you guys.
Right.
So we can fill in all the gaps.
I don't, and we'll do some more research in terms of that.
These are all great
Exactly.
points.
Yep.
These are all valid points. That's why it's gotta come to labor. Labor's gotta get it. So this is a transparent, trying to make this a transparent process as possible. And I wanna thank everybody that came, because your input is extremely important in this process as it goes forward. I wanna thank you guys for coming tonight.
Thank you.